A very impactful weather system is moving through the middle part of the country today with heavy snow, freezing rain, and other frozen precipitation in the northern part of the system, with severe weather and flooding moving to the east, the Ohio Valley, and points south into Texas. In today's forecast, we're going to go through the snowfall totals here up to the north, the potential impacts, and also severe weather and flooding impacts next. So this morning encompasses a time frame going into tomorrow. All right. And further to the south, we have a flood watch in the Chicago area going on right now. You see the radar with a lot of precip just going over the same areas here, right, with heavy precip embedded in these lines, right? And further to the south in Arkansas and parts of Oklahoma, we have an ongoing severe thunderstorm watch, flood watches, flood warnings, special weather statements, some flood warnings, like I said, embedded in all this. And out to the west here, we have some freeze warnings in the higher terrain here in the Mountain West, and wind advisories, air quality alerts for stagnant conditions out west here, and air quality alerts down in Arizona, and up to the north here in Vermont, New York here, wind advisory for some high winds and special weather statement. Let's take a look at this on the radar. Let's see what this is about. It'll probably do with fog or something. Icy roads with wet untreated surfaces today. So the key messages here, I want to relay this from the Weather Prediction Center. They're the experts on this, right? So the storm will move through the Minnesota, state of Minnesota today, impacting them, people, you folks in the northern Minnesota the most today. You see where the major impacts are, as well parts of Wisconsin, and UP, Michigan as well, all along Lake Superior today. Heavy snowfall will continue 1 to 2 inches per hour, likely um, into Minnesota this morning. Freezing rain through midday in the Minneapolis area as well. Moving to the north and the east today. So the greatest ice accumulations are expected to be in northern Wisconsin and Michigan, where there'll be 1/4 to 1/2 inches forecast. So all this said, the biggest impacts where the icing is, of course, is power outages uh, and travel impacts more where the heavy snow is today. And here's your official snowfall forecast from the weather prediction, well, from the National Weather Service using their probabilistic precipitation portal. Bullseye of up to 1 foot of snow through Sunday morning. Okay, that's where most of the snowfall is going to occur. You can see it moves out into the east here. Maybe some returning snowfall here through the first part of the week on the southern part of the lakes here. And here's our total icing expected, right? This is through Tuesday, okay? But you see the highest amounts, like we talked about, in northern Wisconsin here and parts of northern Maine as well. And we go through the timeline here. Most of this falls between now and Sunday. And then in the northern Maine, New Hampshire here, parts of Vermont, we get some frozen precip as well, and that moves out also, and there's really nothing left here. So as far as the snow impacts and icing, most of it will be out of the area by Tuesday. Listen, I would love to hear from you guys. Let me know where y'all are at, what you're experiencing, what your conditions are. Anywhere, I'll be happy to talk to y'all about what's going on. I'd love to hear anything you have to say about the weather or anything else for that matter. I'll be happy to help. So appreciate that. As far as flooding, we have a lot of a wide area where the potential flooding could occur today, spanning from just west of the Mississippi River all the way down to Atlanta, Georgia, up to central Pennsylvania, with multiple areas of slight risks in parts of east central Texas, southwestern Arkansas, most in the Mississippi, Louisiana here, and up in the Ohio Valley as well, up towards the Cleveland area, Dayton, Pittsburgh, Fort Wayne, Indiana also. So that's another part of this forecast is tough because we got 3 different things going on. We got snow up here to the north, right? Heavy rain and severe weather, which we'll talk about next as well. And here's the amount of precip that's expected today. What's interesting is Not a lot is expected in Ohio, but I think it's because they've had repeated rounds of heavy rain. The flood risk is higher here. And you see down in the parts of Texas and Louisiana, Mississippi, maybe a couple inches of rain today as well. But part of the thing is you may have a very quick hitting round of, well, not quick hitting, but a thunderstorm lasts an hour or so with rain behind it. Could get a couple inches of rain in a short period of time. So I think that's part of the problem here today. Going into tomorrow, thankfully the flooding threat moves way far south here on the tail end of the frontal boundary. Okay, and we can see where the heaviest rainfall is expected tomorrow. Not much in central Georgia here. We're in an extreme drought, and will continue to be that way for the foreseeable future. Not much moisture here at all. So right in southern Texas here, and going into the future here, we're going to have the return of heavy rain to the Mississippi Valley and Ohio Valley, which I'll go over as well. Then we go into the 8th, which is I think Tuesday, Tuesday, right? We have a chance of excessive rainfall right along the east coast of Florida, and we'll monitor that as well. Let's take a look at the multi-day um, precip outlook. So when we look at this, this is through Wednesday, right? The heaviest precip expected along the Florida coast here and parts of Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Texas, and right in the Gulf of Mexico as well. But you see down in the southeast, not much precip expected here. And you see what I'm talking about here, heavy rain, according to the Weather Prediction Center, is expected with the U.S. hazards, right, 7th and 8th, and heavy rain. This was issued yesterday. This is their hazards outlook, the 9th and the 10th in the central to north central U.S. with high winds possible here out west as well. But I'm highlighting heavy rain in this forecast is mostly here. So heavy rain will return to the central U.S. in the coming days. And we go a little further out, the 8 to 14 day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. High risk already of heavy precip centered in the the deep south here, parts of northeastern Texas, southeastern Oklahoma, and southwestern Arkansas with a large area 11th through the 13th. But 11th through the 12th looks like a high risk scenario here, and a larger risk the 11th through the 14th. So as we get towards the weekend is when this is expected to really ramp up again next weekend. But as we move on to discuss severe risk, I wanted to show you this screen here. All right, so we got the upper level water vapor loop overlaid by the mid-level 500 millibar RAP analysis, right? Rapid refresh, okay? So you also have your surface low here, surface high out in the Atlantic here, which is keeping precip from hitting the southeast here too much, right? Very amplified pattern in the middle part of the country, and this trough will lift to the east northeast. Okay, you can see how it's flowing here, right? And it kind of takes on this pattern like this, and you have your overrunning moisture up to the north here in the cold air, and you have frozen precip, right? So this is going to move to the east today, going generally in this area, all right? And hopefully you can see this, but the have the slight risk of up here of severe weather all the way down into parts of Texas. So this is all the way from the Ohio Valley into the parts of the western mid-Atlantic, I guess you would say, down into Texas here. And there's another look at the outlook, right? There's a little bit better graphic here. You can see better, right? So yeah, the slight risk going from Cincinnati, Ohio, Pennsylvania, parts of Pennsylvania, up towards Detroit, Michigan, and you have a larger margin of risk all the way down to the south, with a general thunderstorm risk encompassing that as well in parts of southern Florida. Also, tornado risk, we have a potential for strong tornadoes up here again in the Ohio Valley, although the risk is relatively low, 2%. So you have a 98% chance of not seeing a tornado within 25 miles of a point of a given location. So, but if one does spin up, it could be strong. That's what the stippled region is here, this hashed region, okay? Could be EF2, So that's not, I'm not trying to overstate it, but that's what the potential is here. The wind risk is the highest risk today as far as coverage goes, not intensity, right? Coverage. So you got 50 knot potential, 50 knot wind potential anywhere in this area, with the highest probabilities of having 50 knot winds within 25 miles of point in the Ohio area, Ohio, Pennsylvania, parts of New York State, down to Cincinnati. It pretty much encompasses that region where tornadoes are possible as well. There is a risk for severe weather just right along the southeast coast, encompassing South Carolina, North Carolina, and parts of Virginia tomorrow. But the only real threat tomorrow is wind. So, and a small 5% risk here. So not high probabilities, but if you do get some storms firing and they're severe, they could produce 50 knot winds here, but no other threats associated with this. No hail, no tornado threat. Not to say we can't get some severe hail or tornado, but the threat is less than 2% here. So this is a quick analysis and discussion about the timing for the severe weather today and the heavy rainfall also. It'll all encompass the same thing really. So into tomorrow as well. But we have the 500 millibar low in the north central U.S. here. We showed that on the other satellite image overlaid with the 500 millibar, which is mid-level flow. You see it moving to the northeast here, right? And you see enhancement of the mid-level jet here, right in the that area where we could have some strong storms, especially tornadoes, right here in the Ohio Valley, right, or in the maybe you would call the parts of the Mid-Atlantic. So let's focus a little bit on that area now. So I chose the weather bell here to do this analysis of 500 millibars because the mid levels, because of the it can you can choose east and west instead of just focus just on the just real close in shot here. So it gives me a good overall view of the eastern part of the country here. So like I said, that 500 millibar low is moving out. Some enhanced flow ahead of it. Saturday night into tonight, and you see what happens here. You have like an enhanced flow here at 500 millibars moving through this area overnight tonight, but this is into tomorrow really. So I have to let's look at the radar real quick and see what it shows with this. So we're starting off here at 8 a.m. today. This is a NAM 3 kilometer model, okay? You see snow on the backside of the system. We've talked about that. Ice, freezing rain, sleet, and overall thunderstorms moving to the east here. Change this, no stations. Showers and storms moving to the east here. And we got overnight tonight. You see what I'm talking about here. It's more of an overnight event. Although, I don't know. We'll have to look at this a little bit closer as far as severe parameters, but not seeing a lot of potential for rotating updrafts here. All right, but we'll look at it closely here for a second. So yeah, so we get to the overnight here, you can see what's going on. We got southerly flow ahead of this system, right here, and a westerly component going this way, right? Broad trough here. You can see what looks like maybe a cold front pushing through to the east here, right? Now, if we look at dew points and temperatures with this, you see what I'm talking about here. We have 60-degree dew points ahead of this, which indicates a warm, moist air, right? But since this was overnight, we still have 60s temperatures as well. So very moist environment here. So sufficient for severe weather in these areas, right? So let's look at some severe parameters real quickly. You see how the shear values also increase, which is a good indicator of severe weather potential here overnight. This is 12 a.m., so we're talking 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 a.m. Eastern, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Significant tornadoes. See how the parameters are maximized around down to the south here, interestingly enough, and up to the north in that highlighted storm prediction center outlook area for tornado potential. Although not that high of a value, it's still there nonetheless. Supercell composite also shows these values in this area. Well, not extremely high. We're showing potential for some, and this is just one model run, right, in northern Pennsylvania. Now we look at the Cape values overnight. Not too bad for this time of year, all the way up into parts of Ohio Valley, with the highest Cape, which means energy in the atmosphere, of course, further to the south here, but plenty sufficient, at least according to the North American model here, anywhere east of where this cold front's moving through. And let's go back to look at the radar and go over the timing once more as we close this out. So, going into tonight, showers and storms move to the east. We got maybe some prefrontal storms forming here. If we get some prefrontal convection, who knows? We could have some more severe weather ahead of this as well. We'll see how that evolves. Usually when you have prefrontal convection, you have a better chance, if it's conducive otherwise, for more significant severe, right? Down to the south here, we just got multiple lines of showers and thunderstorms moving through. Overnight tonight, the low level jet, of course, increases overnight as well, usually. So we got just a lot of storms just moving to the east. The front to the south kind of washes out, and then you get into tomorrow night, maybe some severe weather up here in in this area here, and maybe some snow on the backside of this as well. Now moving a little further out into Sunday evening, all that moves offshore by the time you wake up on Monday morning. Well, that's it for today, guys. I appreciate you all watching, and like, subscribe, and leave any comments, like I've said, about my video, or anything, questions you want to ask. I'll be happy to answer them. Hope you all have a good Saturday. God bless.